Hi everybody, my name is Jessie Haas. I am the Senior National Director of the Therapy Animal Program at Pet Partners, and I want to welcome you to our quarterly roundup of volunteer news and updates. This is just an opportunity for me to share with you some things that we have seen or news or information that seems pertinent, things that have come up in the last few months. Some of these things you read about in newsletters or in emails or on our website or in our social media. This is just another way for us to connect with you, have a chat with you, cover some things, like I said, that we feel have emerged in the last quarter. So with that said, I am going to get started, but please feel free to comment at any point in time, whether it's about the topic I'm covering or whether it's about something totally unrelated. We want to connect with you, so comments are definitely open. We will start with some information or some reminders around the registration process. And this information is actually more so for our prospective volunteers, although some of it does apply for our active volunteers going through a renewal process with us. So the first one is that when you complete all the steps of your registration and you submit your materials to us and we acknowledge that we've received them and you're approved, that actually isn't the last step of the registration. You do still need to pay for your registration, which is an email that comes after that. So you send us your information, we tell you it's approved, we send you a payment link, and then you pay, and then your registration is complete. We are finding that some volunteers are forgetting that step. They think that our acknowledgement that we've received materials or reviewing your materials in some way is the summative step, but it is not. And then you're sort of left wondering, why haven't I heard from them? And we're left wondering, why haven't they paid? So just make sure you watch out for that email. The other thing to keep in mind, if you are going through an evaluation for the first time, you cannot evaluate until your coursework is complete. Whether you complete that coursework online or in person, it is checked by your evaluator. If it isn't complete, you cannot evaluate. And again, in the last few months, we've seen a handful of volunteers not quite understand that, because we do allow you to sign up for an evaluation as soon as you want to. We want to make sure you can get on the calendar, get a date that works for you. But then people forget that the coursework still has to be done before your evaluation date rolls around. Your evaluator will check that. They will typically want to check that at least a few days before the evaluation event, so don't wait to the last minute to complete it either. And really, as a best practice, my recommendation to you is to complete the handler course a few weeks or even a month or two before you actually plan to evaluate. That's not a requirement. Sometimes the timing doesn't work out that way for you, but the course will really give you not only more information about the evaluation itself, but will give you a really good understanding of the concepts and behaviors we are looking for both in you as a handler and in your animal during the evaluation, and of course as an ultimate volunteer. But when you really absorb that course and that information and you're able to reflect on it, it will give you some time to incorporate some of what you've learned into your daily life with your animal, which is only going to set you up for more success at the evaluation. One other thing on registration timing. We have been hearing a lot lately from handlers who are feeling frustrated they don't yet have their badge. And it is true, it can take 6, 7, 8 weeks to receive your badge after you've paid for your registration, which, as I talked about before, is kind of the final step on your end. And actually, I expect that as we head into the final 6 weeks of the year, the holidays, badges may be delayed even more. And just to be transparent, just to kind of give you a peek behind the curtain in terms of why that is, we don't say receive Sally's registration payment and immediately ask for Sally's badge to be printed and shipped. Rather, we wait for kind of a bulk amount of badges to be ready to go, and then we start working on it. And the reason for that is it is much more cost effective to print, process, and ship a bulk number of badges than it is to do it as one-offs or two-offs. And I understand that you pay for your registration, right? You're paying to volunteer, and that already might feel quite uncomfortable or uncommon to you, since there are so many volunteer endeavors out there where you don't have to pay anything. But your registration fee actually only covers a part of what it costs to have you out in the community when you consider the education, when you consider the insurance and things of that nature. And then we supplement what you pay in your registration fee with donations, fundraising, corporate sponsorships that allows us to then kind of make up that difference and have you out in the community with that education, with that insurance, and so on and so forth. So we are generally quite careful when it comes to what we spend and how we spend it. It is financially more responsible for us to do these in bulk so that we don't create more costs for you and we don't create more of a fundraising need for us to cover that cost. It is important to point out that you do not have to have your badge to go on your first few visits. It is true that in your coursework and in the guide, we say very clearly you should always be displaying your Pet Partners badge, and that is true. The one exception is if you don't have your badge yet, you can use your registration letter as a stand-in. Your registration letter comes as a PDF attachment to your final email from us that says you are registered, and you can open it up, you can print that out, you can carry it with you, you can screenshot it on your phone and go out and visit even without a badge. So I know the delay is frustrating, but I wanted to let you know it might be even a little bit more frustrating coming up here and just give you a little bit of a clue as to why that is. 2 more updates. The next one is pretty fun. Right now, Pet Partners has a pop-up shop available, and the pop-up shop is a place where you can go and purchase Pet Partners t-shirts, short sleeve, long sleeve, crew neck sweatshirts, hoodies, with different animals on them. Obviously the species that we register, different cute sayings, the Pet Partners logo. These pop-up shops are pretty popular, but they don't run all of the time. So if you're somebody who has been interested in getting a Pet Partners branded shirt or sweatshirt, now is the time. Most volunteers do like to wear these on visits or when they're attending a Pet Partners event. And depending on when you're watching this live, I mean, I'm hoping it's still up for you. It should be up for a little bit here to allow you to fulfill some of your holiday shopping needs for yourself, for your friends, or your family. So check out the pop-up shop. We will try to drop that in the comments so you can get a direct link to it, but it's also available on our website as well right now. The next update is actually about our team evaluator leadership role and opportunities to become a team evaluator. So I am pleased to announce that we have a lot of dates for our 2023 team evaluator practicums already set. They're published on our website. The team evaluator practicum is essentially the training required to take the step from being a handler to being an evaluator. It is a 6-week online course of study. And then we have options where you can do the last step at the end of those 6 weeks in person. And then other options where you can complete the last step online, making it a fully virtual experience. If you've ever considered becoming a team evaluator, I encourage you to check out those dates. The best way to find them is to log into your Volunteer Center account. Go to resources, which is a big brown box right on your homepage. Once you're logged in, type in practicum and you'll see the dates. We don't have a complete list yet. We're still working a bit on some of the in-person components for those that will have that in-person part. But we do have all of our virtual dates set already and a few of those in-person dates as well. In terms of what it takes to be an evaluator, the vast majority of our evaluators don't have extensive animal training background or veterinarian background or behaviorist background. Most were just handlers, kind of fell in love with the volunteerism, really grew to understand what it means to be a therapy animal handler, have grown to understand what different environments can look like. And as long as you come in with that knowledge and you're inspired to help grow the number of teams in your community, our training will fill in the gaps for you and prepare you for that team evaluator role. So the majority of our handlers are already eligible. Reach out to us with questions or concerns about the process or the application. We're happy to help you every step of the way. So I just wanted to let you know those 2023 dates are out if that's something you have been considering. And I think that's all the updates I have today. But like I mentioned, please feel free to type any sort of comment or question, customer service issue in the comment thread, and we'll hop in and respond to those as we are able. So Everybody have a lovely day, and thank